Hello, everybody. Welcome back to NF Marsch. When I left you guys in August, I spent the rest of the day taking care of our grass fields. I got those mowed, I got the edges cleaned up, and I plowed up any areas of meadow grass that were in the fields. So they are all now planted grass. We got a little over 300,000 liters of grass out of there. I expect to do better next time since we got all the meadow grass out of there and they've been fertilized. So they are going to be ready to cut again in a couple of months and we'll get another few 100,000 liters of grass. This is our freshly planted hops field. You can see the sprouts just coming up a little bit. So I'm not sure how long this field is going to take before it's ready to harvest, but it's planted and we're going to watch it grow, and when it's ready, we'll harvest it. So we're waiting for that. That's kind of an unknown. I've never planted hops before, so I'm going to let that be a surprise as to how long it takes. So today, since all of our fields are ready to go and they've been taken care of, I think today we're going to do some work on cleaning up some areas and making room for some productions. Right over here, we're going to clear this area up and put in a production. Now, let me show you something. I downloaded the pack for this map, and I don't know that it's specifically for this map. I'll look and see if it says NF Marsch. It may just be the FA pack. Yeah, or Fed Mods pack, that's what it is. It's the Fed Productions pack. This is recommended for this map. So we'll kind of go through these a little bit, but if you look, they are expensive. The bakery is $1.4 million. Although it does make numerous products, in addition to just bread and cake, it makes a lot of other products as well. And requires a lot of products from these other mods. The thing that stood out the most is just like the multi-map. I don't know if you've played that before or not, but these mods need electricity, and I believe some of them also need pallets. I'll wait until this scrolls back and we'll see. I don't know if that's a pallet or not. That may be a pallet because I believe there's a pallet factory. There's a brewery, which I would very much like to do. But again, it's $1.4 million and it requires both electricity and pallets, which means that we are going to have to produce electricity and pallets if we want to use any of these mods. And I do. I'd really like to experience some of this. There's a fishery. We can process and sell fish. There's feed factory. There's a vegetable factory. There's a whole bunch of these productions. But what they mostly have in common is that they are expensive and they all use electricity. And some of them also use pallets. So I think we need to start from the beginning with that in mind and being able to produce electricity. The BGAs required by these, or supplied with these mods, they're big BGAs, and I'm sure they produce a great deal, but they also cost a great deal. So at some point we may upgrade to one of these BGAs, but I think we're going to do something much smaller to begin with. And we're going to go to the old faithful here, the mini biogas plant. These guys are just hard to beat. They take potatoes, they take straw, they take sugar beets, they take sugar beet cut, plus all of the basic stuff like silage and slurry and manure. So you can put a lot of different products in these mods. I'm going to try to feed them mostly silage because silage seems to be the thing that produces the most. The recipe for silage really produces a lot of methane and electricity. We'll be selling our methane. We'll be distributing and storing our digestate distributing our electricity once we get productions that need it. Until then, I think we may just sell all of it. Or I may do a solid fertilizer production that uses the digestate. On a normal map, I would say no, that's too powerful. Selling fertilizer will make you millions of dollars. But looking at the prices of these productions, the Fed production pack, we're going to need millions of dollars just to make this happen. Now we could go solar, but they are still quite expensive, and I don't know how much electricity they actually produce. So I think we're going to go with the known quantity, the BGA that we know. And then at some point, we will either buy one of the BGAs on the map, or we will put in one of these Fed productions, Fed mods productions. So that's the plan. But for today, we're going to clear this area right here, and we're going to put in a mini BGA. So that's the first thing we're going to do. The second thing we're going to do today is I have taken a contract on field 36 to harvest wheat. I believe it's wheat. So we'll be harvesting that. I borrowed the equipment to do that. It doesn't pay a great deal. Some of these contracts really do. Like that one, for instance, $124,405 to harvest a huge field of potatoes. I believe it's pretty huge. Let's look at field 15. If I can find it fairly quickly. Should be close to us. Yeah, there it is. They don't look huge on the map, but these fields are big. Big, big, big. So harvesting potatoes on a field like that is, I mean, you may love to harvest potatoes, but me, not so much. It's just a long, drawn-out process. So what we're going to do is we're going to harvest the wheat on field 36, and I'm going to be able to keep the straw. So I will pick up the straw with my loading wagon, and I'm going to put it in our silage fermenter, and we're going to make silage out of it. So we get paid 16 grand for the contract, and we get a couple hundred thousand liters of free silage. So I think that's a pretty good deal, and especially for the time invested, and it's also pretty close to the house, so that makes it even more attractive. But we're going to start by jumping in our bigger tractor, and we're going to go over to the vehicle shop, and we're going to lease a chipper, and we're just going to turn all of this into wood chips rather than trying to turn it into lumber or logs. There's one tree there in that whole bunch that would even make good logs. It's that stone pine right there. The rest of that, they're either very small, like the pine right next to it, or they're hardwood trees, which if you've ever tried to turn hardwood trees into logs, you know that is not a fun process. So we're going to use the Devour Trees mod, and we're going to devour some trees. This guy it makes trees disappear, and it puts wood chips in your trailer. Okay. Turn on the wood chipper. And I'm not going to worry about lowering the wood chipper. You really don't need to. And it just makes the trees go away. Yeah, I probably should have done this other one first. And it gets the stumps. Yeah, chances are we're going to have to come back for some of these. These are the worst kinds of trees to try to deal with. I think they provide the most amount of wood once you get them dealt with, but that's usually the way this game works. You know, you can always get more for stuff when you put it on the train because it's much more work to put it on the train. So, makes sense. All right, I think I might have gotten all of it. If I didn't, I'll find it when I mow it. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to work. And we got the stump. Very good. We got the stump. I can tell by the way that's moving that there's still a piece of wood under there. I wish I could grind up this fence too, but alas, there is no way to move it. I can't get rid of it. And I know map inkers have a reason for doing that. I would be curious as to why, though. I always like a map where once I buy a piece of property, I can remove anything on it. I may not want to, but I always like to have that option. And you see that tree is still giving us fits. It's been gone. The tree's been gone for a while, but it's still giving us a hard time. Oh, I got it to move. All right, I think I got it that time. All right, I'm going to leave those three because I don't think it really makes any difference. Since I can't remove the fence, I can't put my BGA any closer to the road. So we have 13,713 liters of wood chips. So, I'll stick them in the silo if it'll let me. Let's see if it will. Yep, it will. Okay, so we've emptied out the wood chipper. I think that's all we need to do with it for now. It's fairly inexpensive to lease, so I'm going to go ahead and return this. Okay, that was a good job. And in fact, I'm not even going to think about mowing that. There's really not enough grass there to make any difference. That can't be more than about 1,000 liters of grass. So we're not going to worry too much about it. I am going to asphalt right over it. There we go. Still a little bit of wood there. We'll put it over there. And we'll never speak of it again. Okay, let's put in a BGA real quick. So I'm going to get it. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. I'll put it right in the middle. That's the only thing that's going to go here anyway. I think that's about the only thing that's going to fit. I was going to put it over to one side so maybe we could put something else in here. But I think it's just going to go there. Very good. And we are going to turn on silage. And that's all we have to put in it right now. We're going to come up here and we're going to distribute silage. And we'll come down here. And we're going to sell everything except digestate. We're going to store digestate. It's powerful. Turning digestate into solid fertilizer and then selling the fertilizer is a very, very powerful moneymaker. And so I use it with some caution on other maps because it can make you a multimillionaire in a hurry. But on this map, with the price of productions, we need to be a multimillionaire in a hurry. And then when we are, we're going to spend it all. So the prices of fields on this map are astronomical. So everything on this map costs a lot of money. So we're going to need a lot of money. And I think we're going to make a lot of money too. So I'm going to go ahead and drive this over to field 36. And then I'm going to come back and get the harvester to field 36. And then we're going to start harvesting some wheat. So I'll bring you guys back when we're ready to start the harvest. All right, we're here. We've picked up our harvester. We're ready to go. We've got a lot of wheat here to harvest. So I expect to get a whole lot of straw off of this field. And I'm real happy about that. Whatever straw we get becomes free silage for us. So that is a really good benefit of harvesting a grain field. what a great yield here. You know, when you look at this field in comparison to the other fields on the map, it looks like it's, you know, kind of a medium-sized field and nothing, you know, nothing terribly big or anything. But then you look at this yield and, oops, okay, we're all right. We're all right. You look at the yield and we now have, you know, about 115,000 liters of wheat here off of this field. So these fields are a lot bigger than you would think from just looking at the map, which explains why they cost as much as they do. But we should get a ton of straw off of this field. I'm going to stick this over here in the corner where it's kind of out of the way. I am not going to complete this contract yet, but we are going to go ahead and deliver the wheat to wherever it goes. Let's look at that real quick and see if we can find that place. So this needs to go to Getreide AG. There it is, all the way down at the bottom of the map. So I'll meet you guys down there and we'll see if we get any extra grain out of this. I'm not going to worry too much about keeping grain. I'm going to go ahead and let it sell. But let's see how much extra we get off of this field, and then we'll come back, pick up all the straw, then we can complete the contract and get paid. All right, we have arrived. Let me try to find the sell point here. I think it's probably going to be back here. Yep, it's going to be up in there. So I should have come all the way down and turned in down there. That's all right. Well, I like it when they label places clearly. That way you know you're not dumping your load at the wrong place. Well, all right. We got $13,000 in extra wheat there. Got a little environmental penalty, so I think in the next episode we're going to go ahead and buy the soil sampler and get all of our soil tested and make sure that we're giving it the right amount of lime and the right amount of fertilizer, and that's just ultimately going to increase our yield a lot, and we'll get the extra bonus when we sell things. All right, I'll meet you guys back over at the field and we'll pick up some straw. Well, that's 500,000 liters, and we have probably another, I don't know, 30 or 40 over there in the field. So I'm going to head back to the field. I'm going to pick that up and then collect on the contract, and I'll meet you back here at the farm. All right, we got almost 75,000 liters on that second trip. So I'm going to dump that in here. All right, so I do want to change some things around here in our production. I'm going to turn off grass silage, and we're going to go ahead and keep the rest of that grass, but we're going to turn on straw silage. And we are already distributing silage to the BGA, which is why our money went up as we were harvesting that field. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it did. We've got some electric charge, we have some methane, and we have some digestate. So in the next episode, we are going to be buying some sheep and a production that will turn our digestate into solid fertilizer. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I'm going to find something. And since we have completed this contract, I'm going to go ahead and collect our $14,591. And there's more contracts here. I did some research on what it takes to harvest lavender, and it's basically like harvesting cotton. So, not sure we're going to be doing that. We might do some sowing contracts, though. We could certainly sow field 64 with onions. That shouldn't be too difficult at all. So we'll look into that in the next episode. But I think we're going to call this one for today. If you like this episode, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up or a subscription. If you didn't like it, well, leave me a comment and tell me why. Either way, thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time.